we're recording.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the workshop. I'm Thomas Baraz of the Illinois Department of Commerce. The agencies on the screen are here to update you on resources available to separating employees. From the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, we have Kathleen Bradigan. From the U.S. Department of Labor, Employee Benefits Security Administration, we have Andres Mendez. And from the Illinois Department of Employment Security, we have Miguel Claudio. I want to thank Panita Bahel for helping us organize this meeting. The U.S. Department of Labor mandates that we notify workers affected by layoff of their available government resources. Now, you may not need a particular resource that we're covering today, but we want you to know it's available. All of these resources are funded either by your employer or by taxes, so there's no cost to you. We'll finish and then take questions. Please put your questions in the chat pod or write them down, and we'll address them at the end. Here's a little known fact. Unemployment insurance is funded by employers, not by your taxes. Notice the link on the bottom. Please write down that link, and I'll cover it in just a second. First, let's cover the law that governs workforce benefits, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA. Sometimes we say in these talks, WIOA, but we still mean WIOA. WIOA covers adults, youth, dislocated workers, and spouses of dislocated workers. A dislocated worker is anyone laid off through no fault of their own. You have a window of eligibility from separation until your next job, when you can utilize the WIOA services, including a no-cost training grant. For example, during this period, a person may pick up a credential in manufacturing technology, or perhaps transportation, distribution, and logistics. We call that a TDL credential. Now the link. The link below goes to your web page, where you'll find the meeting handouts. And the handouts have all the phone numbers and meeting links that we'll be referring to during the meeting. It also has a recording, or will have a recording of this workshop in about 3 to 5 days. You'll notice when you go there, it has event calendars, a service finder, a virtual job fair, and please note this, it has a dislocated worker survey, which helps us budget the funds. That's a big help to us, so please take a moment to fill it out. In the survey, there's a box to check if you wish to be contacted by workforce personnel. As we move to the first speaker, for funding, the U.S. Department of Labor splits the USA up into local workforce areas. We have about 25 in Illinois. The local workforce area with the greatest amount of resources after Los Angeles is the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, and they're coming up next.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your short patience here. A little difficulty, technical difficulty. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Brannigan, and I am with the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. We represent the public workforce system for Cook County. A little bit about the partnership is, as you can see, we have been managing the Cook County system since 2012. We're pretty big, so we cover all of City of Chicago and all of suburban Cook. And as Mr. Mraz pointed out, we are one of the largest public workforce systems in the United States. And we have a lot going on. So we have a big system, and we facilitate our workforce development services through 10 American Job Centers and roughly about 53 direct service providers. Those are the professionals in the business of workforce development that we contract out to provide workforce services to whoever is in need and or eligible. This is our motivation. So a little bit about our vision and our mission. Truly believing that every person has the opportunity to build a career, and every business has the need to grow their talent, to compete in a very competitive world market. So that is our mission, and our programs are designed to support that. System overview. So many people are not familiar with the public workforce system, and this is a quick overview of what it means. So, you know, we have the job seeker and the employer, and how do we get them connected? How do we get the job seeker ready and to the threshold of the employer? We do that through working with individuals through our job readiness training, helping individuals craft their resumes, get ready for interviewing, doing job search, and or they may decide to go back to school, as Mr. Mraz referenced, to get a TDL certification. I want to point out that we do facilitate training in all the major industry sectors. I'll talk to that in a minute. But all together, we come together as a public workforce system. So, you know, all working together to help people get connected, to help people acquire the skills and the certifications to become employed. So again, speaking to the region's labor market, so Cook County is big, so we cover all these industries here. So business, professional services, healthcare, retail, culinary, and hospitality, and tourism is included there. Information technology, manufacturing, transportation, distribution, and logistics. You'll hear that as TDL, and construction. So when an individual is notified by their company that there is going to be a layoff, that company is obligated to advise the state at certain levels, at certain numbers. But we work with all companies, small, medium, and large, when there is going to be a layoff of any type. Rapid response services are the wraparound support services that come into play. It is a facilitated business service that is administered under the WIOA grant. And the WIOA grant is the federal grant that finances the public workforce system. So these services are provided under federal dollars. And again, the state is broken into roughly 25 local innovation opportunity areas, each governing their own region in terms of markets and labor regions and what they're going to focus on in terms of industries, or what they need to focus on in terms of industries. You know, obviously we're in a high urban area, so we're covering all those industries. Maybe downstate it would only be, you know, maybe manufacturing in another one. So that will come into play out when I talk to training in a little bit here. But this talks about dislocated workers, which is a laid off worker. It's the same terminology. It's just the legalese terminology to the law, to the WIOA law. But it's meant to support effective workers who are facing an employment layoff at no fault of their own, with employment services, I like to say re-employment services, programs and resources that will prepare and support them in their re-employment efforts, including and an opportunity to train or retrain in their respective sector and or to make a change. Again, a little bit of information about what a dislocated worker is. It's not a term that you're likely to be familiar with, but this is what it means, that you're a laid off worker. And you can see this is strictly, this is taken from, the language is taken from the law. So once a company notifies the state of Illinois through a warn notice, that's when the rapid response team comes into play, and we come together, we work together as an interagency team to provide these workshops. We're appreciative too. Certainly during this pandemic, normally we would be providing these services on site at the company, but we're able to do it through our great partners at Southern Illinois University, who administer the workforce portal system for the state of Illinois. So obviously our workforce world is changing. Everything is virtual. I really feel that it's here to stay, and it's a good thing because we can reach you, you know, via your at-home computer or at the library or wherever. A little bit about the law, Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. Again, a federal funded program. It is funded throughout the United States. So if you do live in another county, if you live in Will County, McHenry, one of the collar counties here in the state of Illinois, these services are available. And are, you know, and provide the same services in terms of reemployment services. Their training dollars may be different, and I'll talk to that in a minute, but the services are the same. Your unemployment will come from the state of Illinois because that is where our Donnelley is located. But if you happen to be moving to another state, you can put that in the chat pod, and we will look that up for you. But you would be able to locate that by Googling WIOA State of Iowa, WIOA State of Wisconsin, and it'll pull all their system information up as well. One thing we want to point out is that this program is tax dollar funded, so it's provided to you at no cost to you, and that's a great thing. You're getting some tax dollars back, making them work for you, and this would be applicable to any person who is impacted by a layoff situation, any one of us. So you're all eligible to access these services. There is a process, and I'm going to talk to that in a minute. But you are automatically eligible to tap into these services. And, you know, again, it's at no cost to you. So talking a little bit about what and how this program can help you. Again, the partnership facilitates the public workforce system for Cook County through the 10 American Job Centers. They're located throughout the city of Chicago and suburban Cook County, 5 in the city of Chicago and 5 in suburban Cook, regionally located. And the first thing that you want to do is to contact an American Job Center nearest you. And you'll be able to do that by utilizing the state's workforce portal site under the service finder. And you can filter it, put in your zip code, and it's going to pull out, it'll pull out these different agencies. And you'll see American Job Center, you'll see Workforce Center. Again, we contract out to, roughly over 53 direct service providers, regionally located. The other thing I want to point out is that all of our American Job Centers are operational. We are conducting business at this time virtually. And as soon as you locate, the agency that you are going to be looking to work with, you'll contact them. They'll get you scheduled for a virtual orientation, and they will go into a deeper dive in terms of documentation that you need to provide to them. One important document that you need to provide is your separation notice from our Donnelley. And that would be in the form of the WARN letter, or it's called a separation letter. What that letter does, what that document does, is it validates that you are an individual that's been affected by this layoff. So it strictly validates that. We would look to make you eligible, and we, are then able to finance the different activities that you're going to be busy with. So that's the first thing that you'll do. You'll go to the service finder, find the American Job Center nearest you, and call them and get scheduled for a WIOA, dislocated worker orientation. So it's a WIOA, dislocated worker orientation. The other thing that I do want to point out is as soon as you get into the workforce center, and again, it's national, and the national brand is the American Job Center. So that is a terminology for these workforce centers that is branded across the United States. So if you do happen to be going into another state's looking for WIOA services there, look for the American Job Center as well. Excuse me. So once you become, once you've done that, I've identified the American Job Center that you are looking to work with. Little bit in this slide talks about what we provide and how you can go about reemployment. And we've seen, believe me when I say, thousands of people have crossed our thresholds in all our American Job Centers and have moved through this process and have become successful and are back working, in a different type of position or an upscale position, essentially in a better job for them. But it's about career resources and workshops. Normally when our offices are open, we do have resource centers that can serve as your work office, and all those things necessary for you to do job search are available to you at no cost. We have many workshops, professional workshops that can advise you on social media, getting ready for an interview. We have professional resume writers on staff. The first touch base will be after you're made eligible to receive the dislocated worker services. You're going to be assigned a career coach, and you're going to be working with their career coach one-on-one. And they're going to be working with you to, not only obviously put together your resume, craft a new resume, but really to assess where you are, to assess your work history, your educational history, you know, and where you want to go. What is your individual employment plan? What's the plan? They're going to help you craft that, and continue to work with you one-on-one. As you can see, part of that is, you know, job search and, you know, reviewing labor market information, things like that to help you assess where you are and where you want to go. In that assessment process, you may decide that you need additional training, and that happens very, very often. And many of our clients do go back to school. The WIOA grant focuses on occupational training. That's essentially 2 years or less. That results, the outcome is a credential and/or certificate. And in Cook County, under in the Cook County public workforce system, you can train in any of our targeted industries in various occupations. So there is a lot to choose from. You may choose just to stay in the same industry. That's fine. For instance, if you were in IT and you find that to be competitive, you're going to need some additional certifications, you can apply to one of the WIOA certified schools, go back to school. Maybe it only takes you a year, and you complete, you get your certifications. You'll then come back to us. You'll come back and work with our business service team, and we will help you get connected with various employers looking for your specific skill sets. And so we work hard, our business service teams work hard to develop relationships with employers throughout the Chicagoland. And we work with all employers, small, medium, and large, in all of the targeted sectors. Now we're at Illinois WorkNet. This is the portal site I was referencing, excuse me. And this is a website that is available to you, to all the citizens in the state of Illinois, 24/7. So it's a tool that can be used at all times. And what we like to do is we want to reference this little green icon, and that refers to our to the module in the website for laid off worker services. So you can follow this little green icon. When we started out the webinar, Mr. Mraz talked about the company specific page, and we do have one that is placed up on Illinois WorkNet. It has all of the information that we would normally distribute in on-site workshops there. So however you want to review that, you can print them out or just view the website, but everything is there from A to Z for you. This is the Center Service Finder. So you're going to search for Cook County American Job Center nearest you. And again, you can filter that by zip code, county, etc. And this will pull up all of our centers, the maps, phone numbers, contact information, etc. You can also go up on the partnership's website. We have a very robust website. We are on social media. We have a newsletter. We post jobs on our website. So it's the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. And you can set up, follow us. We talk about different initiatives that the partnership is working on. And we're working in all the different arenas of workforce. So we are there to help you. We're going to meet you where you are to get you where you want to be, and we're going to take good care of you. So I appreciate your time today, and I wish you the best of luck. And even though we won't see you physically right now in the workforce centers, we'll see you in the workforce centers. Thank you very much.
Okay, so good morning. My name is Andres Mendez, and I'm here from the U.S. Department of Labor, specifically from an agency called the Employee Benefits Security Administration. So, as I was saying, the Department of Labor's Employee Benefits Security Administration administers the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, otherwise known as ERISA, and this is a law that governs retirement plans and health and welfare plans. So you as participants have rights to certain health and retirement benefit protections when you lose your job. And if the company provided a group health plan, you may be entitled to continue under that health plan for a certain period of time if you can't find a job immediately. You might also be able to access more affordable and more generous healthcare options through the federal marketplace or through the state, or even through a spouse's plan. And so the important thing to remember here is that timely action is needed to protect your benefits. So this is all time sensitive, what I'm about to go over. And so here is a brief list of the different options available to you, namely special enrollment, COBRA, coverage through the government program, and individual health coverage through the federal marketplace, which I will go into a little bit more detail in the next few slides. Okay, so starting first with the HIPAA special enrollment. HIPAA offers protections for people who lose their jobs, and then ultimately their health coverage. The law provides additional opportunities to enroll in an employer-sponsored group health plan if you lose other coverage or experience certain life events, and it prohibits discrimination against employees and their dependents based on any health factors they may have, including prior medical conditions. And so previous claims experience and genetic information would also be included under that protection. This is one of the cost-effective options for maintaining your health coverage. So a special enrollment would be if another employer-sponsored group health coverage option is available through a spouse's employer, let's just say, so this is mainly if you're married, you should consider special enrollment in that particular plan. The law allows you and your family to enroll in an employer-sponsored group health plan for which you were otherwise ineligible, regardless of the enrollment periods. However, to qualify, you must request this enrollment within 30 days of losing eligibility for other coverage. So again, this is time sensitive. And after you've requested your enrollment due to loss of eligibility for other coverage, your new coverage will begin no later than the first day of the next month. This is dependent on whether or not you request the enrollment before the 15th of the month. If you do so after the 15th, you risk not being able to obtain coverage for the first of the month. The next option is COBRA. So this is mainly another way of maintaining your health coverage when you lose a job when you're a dislocated worker. As a dislocated worker, you may lose health coverage from a former employer. However, under federal law, the employer has to offer the option of continuing coverage under the exact same plan for a set period of time. So health continuation rules enacted under COBRA apply, again, to all dislocated workers and their families, as well as to workers who, I'll explain that in a second as we go on. So the continuation coverage must be identical to the coverage that you currently have available under the plan or to any similarly situated employee. All that really means is that there can't be a difference in what is offered to you and what is offered to any employee who is actively working for the company. You must receive the same benefits, the same choices and services that any other participant in the plan will receive, and you're subject to the same deadlines. For example, when open enrollment comes around, if you're on COBRA, well, then that's the time to, continue coverage as you see fit. Life insurance and disability benefits are, of course, not considered a medical care, so COBRA does not cover these plans, or does not cover plans that rather solely provide life insurance or disability benefits. COBRA covered group health plans that are sponsored by private sector employers generally are governed by ERISA, and that doesn't require that the plan actually pay for any of the benefits. So this is where that part about the employee being responsible for, usually for the entire cost of coverage, comes in. So what happens with this is that since federal law does not require employers to actually provide these benefits, typically under a normal arrangement, the employer, I should say, the company might pay for, I don't know, 80% of the coverage, and you as the employee will have deductions for the additional 20%. Since you're no longer working for the company, normally people have to pay 100% of the cost, and they could actually put a 2% administrative cost or administrative fee for keeping you on the plan. So that's the caveat. Depending on whether or not you have a severance agreement, that's for each employee to to look over their contracts. If you have some kind of severance agreement, it may or may not include language about COBRA. You should definitely look into that, and I'm sure that you can work with HR to determine that. Continuing here on COBRA, generally employees who qualify to go on COBRA, they will qualify for a maximum period of 18 months of continuation coverage. Of course, this could vary, including if you don't pay your premiums on time, you obviously your coverage will be canceled. If your former employer decides to discontinue health plan benefits altogether, that will also end COBRA. If you obtain coverage with another employer's group health plan, so let's just say that you get lucky and you find a job quickly, when you go on your new employer's health plan, your COBRA continuation coverage will, it'll lapse, it'll be terminated. Or if you qualify for Medicare benefits when you're on COBRA. So if you qualify beforehand, if you qualify for Medicare before going on COBRA, you'll be fine. If you qualify during COBRA, that may very well lead you to lose COBRA continuation coverage. Employers may offer longer periods of COBRA coverage, but they are only required to do so in certain circumstances, such as disability, which carries an 11-month extension, and there's usually special time frames, which, if you find yourself in that situation, I won't go into too much detail about it here, but you can definitely give our office a call, because these are very case-by-case basis type of situations. It could also include an employee's death or divorce, or when a child ceases to meet the definition of a dependent child under the health plan, namely age 26. To be honest with everyone, the only time I've ever seen anyone get an extension has either been through disability or when their child turns 26 and is therefore no longer eligible to be on their parents' healthcare plan. Other than that, it's very rare. So under COBRA, as a former employee, you will usually, like I said, pay the entire premium. So I think that would be a good time to go into exactly how it is that COBRA election works. So from the last effective date of coverage, which again I stress, it's last effective date of coverage under the health plan, not the day that you're terminated, your employer will have 44 days, that's a month and a half, to furnish a COBRA election notice, meaning to send you a COBRA election notice. This could be via mail, at which point, you will have to, focus on the date stamped on the envelope, or it could also be emailed, which, the countdown for the 60 days that you have to elect will commence the day that you receive the email. Simple as that. I'm not sure exactly how our Donnelley will send these notices out, but just know if you get an email, it's from the date that you get an email. If it's from or it's through mail, then you will have to look at the postmark date, and you'll have 60 days from either of those dates to make your COBRA election. One thing to note here, because of COVID-19 and the subsequent acts and laws that have been passed, there is an extension to the timeframes, which I will go over in a moment. But generally, like I said, 44 days for them to send this out, and then 60 days for you to actually elect. And so the important thing to know as well is that COBRA continuation coverage is always retroactive to the date on which coverage is terminated. What does that mean? It means that the moment that you elect and then after you pay your premiums, coverage will be reinstated back to the date on which you lost it, effectively eliminating any gap that existed in the meantime. Yeah, so the extension of timeframes. ERISA issued, I should say EBSA, so our agency has issued a joint notice with the Department of the Treasury and the IRS that extends certain timeframes for employee benefit plans due to COVID-19 from March 1st, 2020, the beginning of the national emergency declared by the President, until 60 days after the announcement of the end of the COVID-19 national emergency or such other date announced by the Department in a future notice. This is what we refer to as the outbreak period. The outbreak period has not ended, and I'm not sure when it will. So what does this all mean in plain English? It means that you technically have until the end of the outbreak period for your 60-day election timeframe to commence. That means that whenever this national emergency is declared over, the 60-day time frame for you to elect will commence. Do I recommend waiting all that long if you're going to go on COBRA? No, because again, like I said, the COBRA continuation coverage will be retroactive back to the date on which you lost it. So if you wait, 2 months and the national emergency is still over, but then you decide to elect, well, then you don't have any coverage during that time until you actually pay the premiums. So I don't recommend that, but it is an option. So after you elect, what will happen is that you will have 45 days at a minimum to pay the premiums. There's usually a 30-day grace period that's associated with that, so really it would be 75, which is actually quite generous. And after that, you would simply pay your premiums on a monthly basis. There may be a way to set this up automatically. I'm not sure. That just varies by, by company, by plan, or if there's a COBRA administrator, meaning if there's a third party that handles this for the company, which there probably is, they will make you aware of how it is that you can pay. It's important that you remember that you have to coordinate these benefits with HR in addition to any third party that there might be. In terms of filing claims for benefits and appeals with denied claim, everything is basically the same as when you were at the company. If you have to file a claim, there's a process for that that's outlined in the plan documents. If you have to appeal something, same thing. 180 days typically to appeal an adverse benefit decision. If you have any issues with any of this, definitely, again, feel free to call us because this is very complicated in general. Employee benefits are very complicated in general. And in terms of special enrollments, of course, which I'll get into in a moment, those are also affected by, by the different measures passed by the federal government to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. And so additional protections for COVID-19. So in March, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, otherwise known as the CARES Act, and the CARES Act were enacted. And so these laws contain provisions relating to employment-based health plans and health insurance issuers that offer group health insurance policies. The law requires the coverage of diagnostic testing for COVID-19. So again, this is very important. With cost sharing, meaning that there are no deductibles, no co-pays, no co-insurance, and without requiring pre-authorization. This includes urgent care visits, emergency room visits, and in-person and telehealth visits to the doctor that result in an order for the administration of a COVID-19 test, including one rendered by an out-of-network provider. The law also allows HSA, so health savings accounts. This is for eligible high deductible plans. This can be used to cover remote care services without a deductible or with a deductible below the minimum annual deductible otherwise required by the Internal Revenue Code. Again, if you have an issue with this, definitely give us a call. I don't expect anyone to remember all this legalistic mumbo jumbo, so to speak. Under these laws, special distribution or loan provisions due to COVID-19, this is related to retirement plans. So again, special distributions or loan provisions due to COVID-19 have had increased limits, and there are extended repayment periods that will be available to participants. For more information, you can visit our agency's COVID-19 response page, and I can provide that, I believe, at the end of the presentation if anyone's interested. Okay. The final option, so to speak, for health coverage is the health insurance marketplace, which is another way for workers who lose their jobs to find health coverage for themselves and their families. In the marketplace, you can compare your coverage options and see what premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs you will have to essentially pay before you decide to enroll. You can also choose between different categories and different types of plans. So it is exactly what it sounds like. It's the federal marketplace of insurance. You'll create a profile if you go online. If you call in, they'll essentially ask you some questions, and they'll determine what types of plans they should recommend for you. And then it's up to you to, compare between plans and decide what works best. And so losing your job-based health coverage gives you an opportunity to enroll in a marketplace plan. To qualify for the special enrollment, you must select a plan within 60 days of losing your job-based coverage. So again, all these dates hinge on when you actually lose your health coverage under the plan. Keep any documentation that you have of your current coverage and effective dates, because you will need it when you request a special enrollment through the marketplace plan. The date of coverage will start depending on when you select the plan. So if you need health coverage in the time between losing your job-based coverage and beginning coverage through the marketplace, you should coordinate this with someone at the federal marketplace, either, like I said, online or over the phone, and of course with HR. They're usually pretty knowledgeable when it comes to this. The website, in case you're wondering, it's that one there. It's healthcare.gov, pretty easy to remember. The good thing about the healthcare.gov website, the Affordable Care Act, the one that the Affordable Care Act set up, is that you will automatically be screened for any state program that you may be eligible for, or that your dependents or spouse may be eligible for that matter. So this includes, free or low-cost coverage from Medicaid and or CHIP, which of course these programs are based on income, so it's a case-by-case basis. And you can apply for either one of these, Medicaid or CHIP, at any time of the year. If you qualify, coverage can begin immediately. So again, you guys should definitely visit healthcare.gov before you make any decision to go with COBRA or with another plan. Okay, so now we're switching gears. We're now in the home stretch of this presentation. This is the section dedicated to retirement plans, which is the other aspect of employee benefits that our agency has jurisdiction over. So ERISA protects the assets of millions of Americans so that funds placed in retirement plans during their work lives will be there when they retire. Pretty important. So dislocated workers face two important issues when they leave employment. That's namely the access to retirement funds and to the continued safety of their retirement plan investments. You should, of course, keep current on any changes your former employer makes, including changes to the rules of the plan. In general, this will be disclosed. It's supposed to be disclosed under federal law, so you will have to look out for these documents. Of course, one of the things that a lot of people forget to do, and this is very important, I can't stress this enough, is if you have any changes of address, keep the plan and the company aware of that. A lot of us, think that, oh, I'm leaving from this company, I'm probably never talking to these people again, and that's pretty much it. Not if you want to receive crucial information about your retirement plan. So, for example, I believe at this company there are people have 401ks through Empower. they are required by federal law to send out certain reporting and disclosure requirements documentation, namely statements, changes to the plan, like I said before. For that, they have to have your correct address. If not, you're not going to get that information. And if your plan is left inactive a certain period of time, it may end up being turned over to the state. Not that the state keeps your money, but it just becomes a little more difficult to find it in that event. So ERISA does not require that retirement plans provide lump sum distributions. This is a common question. Lump sum distributions are only possible if the plan documents specifically allow for them. Generally, if you're enrolled in a 401k, a profit sharing plan, or any other type of defined contribution plan, your plan may provide a lump sum distribution of your retirement when you leave the company. So, I mean, most plans, they actually do provide lump sum distributions, but, you know, on occasion, they don't. Yeah. Going forward, there are a couple of options when you leave a company. The first and obvious thing to do is to do nothing. You can keep the funds in the old plan. This, of course, still requires you to keep in touch. Some people decide to do this because the performance of the company's 401k plan may be good. I don't know, some people might decide to just keep it there. Or some people, frankly, don't have the time and they say, I'll deal with it later. That's perfectly fine. Just keep the plan aware of your movements, so to speak. There is a second category of benefit payments. So this includes mainly rollovers. So this is to a personal IRA. So if you'd like to have your money in one place, for example, if you have a checking account or whatever the case might be with a certain bank, like, I don't know, JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America, what have you, or if you have some kind of account with Fidelity or the Vanguards of the world, you can definitely roll it over to a personal IRA there. There will be some paperwork to fill out, but generally it's pretty easy to coordinate this with HR and with the financial institution. You can also roll it over into a new employer's plan. So if you get another job and they offer a retirement plan, 401k, you can simply coordinate rolling it over from one record keeper to another. The important thing to remember about these rollovers is that so long as the money makes it into the new record keeper's account, you will not incur a penalty, or you won't pay necessarily taxes on it either. The other option, of course, is a direct distribution. We are, of course, experiencing difficult times. Some people honestly need to dig into their retirement funds, which we of course don't recommend. But who are we to tell you to not do something if you absolutely need to? In terms of direct distributions, the important thing to keep in mind is that if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you will get a 10% penalty in addition to the 20% that will be withheld for federal taxes. So again, that's in place to discourage people from reaching into their retirement funds.
Andres, would you
yes.
restate that name, that age, please?
Okay, 59 and a half. 59 and a half is considered the normal retirement age for defined contribution plans or 401k plans. So again, if you're under the age of 59 and a half and you decide to take a distribution, you will incur a 10% penalty. If you're over 59 and a half, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You'll just pay taxes as normal. You always pay taxes. That's one of the sure things in life. Okay. Last thing I'll mention, here's our contact information. Feel free to give us a call. There's 9 benefits advisors at our office. We usually pick up the phone pretty quickly. We also have our interactive website here where you can find brochures. These brochures are really good, I have to admit. They provide a very simplified breakdown of what benefits employees have and the ways that we could assist people. It has all our contact info in there. I also wanted to provide the website and the phone number for the federal marketplace. And last thing I'll mention, didn't really say it in this, I said it in some slides, like towards the middle of the presentation, which is that if you have questions about, loans or basically like loans having to do with COVID-19, so hardship distributions, anything like that, definitely give us a call, okay? That is the end of my presentation. I'll leave this slide up for another 30 seconds or so. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Let me add that if you go to your web page and look for the meeting handouts for the U.S. Department of Labor, the one for Andres Mendez talk is, it has the words health care and retirement in the title, and the PDF has a red cover, so we call it the red book. You can recognize it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a very useful breakdown of benefits. It's a very short read as well. So, and it tries to make it, it uses plain English, so it shouldn't be a problem. And again, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to contact us.
It's my turn, Tom?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Miguel Claudio for Illinois Department of Employment Security.
Give me 1 second here from the beginning. All right. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's working today. Yay. My name is Miguel Claudio. I work for the Illinois Department of Employment Security. I know you got a lot of information today, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible.
Miguel, you still need to share the screen.
I didn't share the screen? Hold on.
You're not sharing the screen yet.
Give me a second.
It's that second share.
Okay, let me escape. All right. There's that second share. Okay. Let me see from the beginning. Can you see it now?
Okay, we can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, again, my name is Miguel Claudio. I work for the Illinois Department of Employment Security. Just to recap on what Tom said in the beginning, the employer pays into unemployment. It's not paid from your taxes. And as of now, right now, there's only 26 weeks worth of benefits. Okay, so because unemployment insurance is meant to be temporary. Okay, you must be paid in order to be eligible at least $1,600 or more in wages during your base period for insured work, and at least 440 of those dollars have to be outside of the highest quarter. Okay, this can be a little confusing, so I'll move on. So as it stands, I have a little bit of allergy, so excuse me. As of now, right now, the minimum for an individual, minimum week allowance is $51. The maximum is $484. For an individual with a non-working spouse, the amount would be $577. And if you have a child, it will be $666. You can only claim one child, and you can either do the spouse or the child, but not both. Okay, file your claim for unemployment insurance benefits during the first week after becoming unemployed. You are strongly encouraged to apply for benefits online, and the website is www.ides.illinois.gov. If you happen to forget this and you want to Google it, be careful, because there are a lot of sites that look like legitimate sites, but make sure that the site has the .gov at the end. Okay, and it's available anytime. To find your local office, you can visit the website and file the nearest location. However, our offices are currently closed. We are working from inside, but it's currently closed. And you can also file your claim over the phone by calling 1-800-244-5631. And one other note, if you're going to file your claim, try to avoid using an Apple computer. Just make sure you use Internet Explorer, and try to use your phones, to avoid using your phones, because sometimes the claim doesn't go through. Okay, so our offices, when they're actually open, is open from 8:30 to 5. Okay, make sure that when you file your claim, that you have your Social Security number and a valid Social Security card, driver's license, or state ID. Excuse me. Make sure you have a copy of this, the front and back copies of your Social Security card, and if you do it online, and your driver's license. Okay, so names, addresses, and phone numbers of all the employers you work for in the past 18 months. You will also need the number of days worked for each employer and reasons for separation, which in your case would be a layoff. Information regarding any pension or retirement, payments you receive, the payments you are receiving, including Social Security. However, Social Security will no longer disqualify you to receive benefits. If claiming your spouse as a dependent, your spouse's name, employment status, and Social Security number. If claiming a dependent child, the child's name, birth date, and Social Security number. Remember, you can only choose one. You cannot claim both spouse and dependent child. After your claim is filed, IDS will send you a statement called an unemployment insurance finding letter. Excuse me. There you'll find the wages reported by your employer in each calendar quarter of your base period for insured work, and the total wages paid to you during your base period. The UI monetary determination, weekly and maximum benefit amount, okay, and any dependent amounts as well. The payment type, direct deposit or debit card, your first certification date, and then you cannot receive benefits for a week of unemployment until you have certified for that week and have met all the eligibility requirements during that particular week. Benefits are paid for calendar weeks of unemployment. A calendar week begins for us at IDS on a Sunday and it ends on a Saturday. This is what the UI finding letter looks like. You're also going to get, it'll be later on, but you're also going to get a debit card, but we'll get to that later. Once you file for unemployment insurance via the internet at a local office or calling the IDS call center, you must then certify to your eligibility for benefits by internet or telephone on the scheduled day every 2 weeks. The first eligible week of benefits following an initial claim is referred to as a waiting week. Okay, that week you do not get paid for. That week, we like to say that has moved all the way to the end. Okay, so although you must certify and meet all eligibility requirements for the waiting week, you will not be paid for it. Okay, again, the best way to certify, you can do it online, which is super fast. It literally takes, like, once you log in, it takes about maybe two minutes or so. Okay, select unemployment insurance on the individuals tab, then choose certifying for weeks of benefits. You can also certify via teleserve. So I'll leave this on for a little bit here. It's 312-338-4337. That information will also be on your UI finding letter. But I got to warn you, this could take about 10 to 12 minutes for you to complete. Okay, so, and it's available from 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. If you have questions when certifying, call IDS Claimant Services at the call center at 1-800-244-5631, and I believe if it's still the case, instead of 8:30, I believe you can call there at 7:30 in the morning. Okay, so this is what our website looks like. So we have the individuals tab link up top. You just scroll over your mouse there, your cursor, and it'll open up a menu there for you. Okay, you can get a lot of resources from here as well. Okay, and this is, once you try to file for unemployment, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, it might change a little because we also have the PUA link next to it. Excuse me. Okay, non-monetary eligibility requirements. You must be involuntary unemployed or underemployed. You must be able and available and actively seeking work. Two important questions during your certification. You must complete your registration and create a resume in IllinoisJobLink.com. You must serve one unpaid wait week. You must certify every 2 weeks. Okay, doing each week, and this is when it talks about the able and available question here. You must be willing, ready, and able to accept suitable work. You must be able to and available for work. Okay, report any unavailable days when you certify. Unavailable days include days that you are away on vacation or days you may stay at home to care for a sick person. You don't lose that money. Eventually, you'll get that money at the end, okay? The law states that you must be actively seeking work on your own initiative. Keep a log of your job search activities for every week in which you claim benefits. Okay, if your eligibility is challenged, you may be required to produce that document. Okay, we have it electronically via Illinois Job Link, and we also have it on paper, that work search record. Save your written records documenting your work search for any week being claimed until 1 year has passed from the end of that week. Our work search form is available on our website. If you are applying in person, you will receive a work search form from the local office personnel. Okay. And then this talks about the, if you open and view a job in Illinois Job Link, it stores it automatically in a work search file. This is what the paper form looks like. It's good for 2 weeks. It should be double-sided. And you can actually type your work search record here. Remember, you must save this thing. Do not throw it away, or just better off using Illinois Job Link. Okay, so partial benefits for part-time work. So you can work and you can receive benefits as well, as long as you don't go over your weekly benefit amount. You may claim partial benefits for a week, even if you find part-time work. You must report earnings for part-time work when you certify. Report gross wages in the week earned, not received. Okay? Earnings in excess of 50% of your individual weekly benefit amount, but still less than your weekly benefit amount, not including dependent allowance, are deducted from your weekly benefit amount, resulting in partial benefits. But again, we don't keep that money. That money stays in your account. You'll get it at the end. If your wages for the week are equal or greater than your weekly benefit amount, your wage deduction eliminates your benefits for that particular week. However, that week remains in the maximum balance. Okay, you will not be able to certify again until an additional claim is filed. A difference between a reopened claim and an additional is the additional is actually you have to have a new last day of work, and if you reopen, the same last day of work remains the same. Okay, so either for another deduction in wages under the WBA or new separation occurs. Dependent allowance is payable only if benefits are payable. Okay, you may opt to receive benefit payments by direct deposit or debit card. Okay, direct deposit is a more convenient and reliable way to receive benefit payments. That card that you see right there has a lot of fees that come with it, okay? Electronic payments are available 2 to 3 business days after the date of certification. After you file a claim, a debit card will be automatically issued by mail to you, even if you apply for direct deposit. If you receive a debit card, please activate it and use the card until the direct deposit has started. Okay, unemployment insurance benefits are subject to state and federal income taxes, so you can also choose to have taxes taken out or not. Okay, as a dislocated worker, you will be able to apply for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, which they talked about earlier, training funds to attend approved schools. An employer who hires you may also qualify for on-the-job training, also known as OJT. It is important to register with your WIOA provider ASAP. The sooner you register and get the training program, the better chances are that you have to complete the training. The new skills will make you more employable. Okay, training, I mean, they talked about this already, so let me move on. Okay,
Miguel,
so Illinois Job, yes.
Miguel, can I insert here? This
Absolutely.
would be the time to mention that if a person is enrolled in approved WIOA training, the job search is waived.
That's correct. That is correct. So once you're in approved training, you are waived. You do not have to fill out a work search record. Okay, so, but if you choose to still use it, that'll be totally fine. Okay, so IllinoisJobLink.com is the internet-based job search resource for posting and finding jobs in the state of Illinois. Okay, if you happen to be at a job fair and you're looking for work somewhere else, you can actually input that in Illinois Job Link as well. You do not have to use Illinois Job Link 100% of the time. Okay, so go to IllinoisJobLink.com, complete your registration, that has to be done, and create a resume. Illinois Job Link is an internet application available anywhere you have internet access. Help is available in every IDS local office resource room. Introductions are available on our website, but I remind you again, our offices are currently closed. Okay, failure to complete your registration and create or upload a resume will delay or stop you from receiving your unemployment insurance benefits. These requirements must be completed before your first certification date. If denied, benefits will be released only when these requirements are met. Okay, and this is what the website has changed a little. They had done some updates, but this is what you need, and you go employees, or you just register an account, and you should be good to go. Okay, benefits for job seekers. Okay, Illinois Job Link doesn't cost anything to use. It allows employers to connect with you based on keywords in your resume, easily update your information, and save multiple resumes to target specific jobs. Again, 24-hour access, and it also records your work search information. And that is it for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, that concludes our rapid response workshop. I think we have a question in the chat pod, Miguel.
Yes.
And it says, if the spouse is working, can you still claim the child?
Yes. You claim the child, absolutely, yes.
All right, good. Then with that, we thank you for attending, and thanks, Panita Bahel, for having us come in and do the workshop.
Sure. We do have one more question here, Tom. Earlier this year, we did have a couple of people go out on temporary unemployment, temporary furlough. Are the logins at the Illinois Job Links, is that login still going to work for those individuals, or do they have to sign in again?
It should be good. They did some updates, so I don't know whether it's going to carry over, but it should be good. Sometimes, well, after a certain amount of time, the system would automatically take you out, so you will have to, either call a number to get a new password, or more than likely, you probably have to register a new account.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then we will shut down here and then get ready for our workshop in Spanish coming up.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.